Bella Baxter has been brought back to life by Godwin, who loves to experiment. She has a child's brain and learns new things as she meets different people. A woman jumps from the bridge into the sea. As Bella Baxter tries to play the piano, Dr. Godwin Baxter watches her proudly. She cheers when he spits out a bubble, and he lovingly kisses her forehead. When he leaves for work, Belly struggles to get words out of her mouth. Godwin teaches anatomy to his students and asks who wants to reconstruct the organs. Some students think of him as a monster because of his deconstructed face. Only Max McCandles respects and admires him for the extraordinary surgeon he is. Godwin seems disappointed in all of them, but asks Max to meet him at the end of the lesson. Max seems like a mediocre person to Godwin, but his paper shows some promise. He feels honored when Godwin asks him to assist with a project. As they discuss religion, Godwin jokes about people addressing him as God because of his name. He introduces Max to Bella, who instantly punches him. Max thinks of her as a beautiful retard, and Godwin explains that she had a brain injury. Godwin fixed it, but her mental age and body aren't synchronized. Language is still coming to her, and Godwin needs Max to keep noting her progression. Bella pees right there in excitement, and Godwin asks Mrs. Prim to clean it up. As Max starts taking notes, Bella struggles to eat and throws food at him. When Godwin is conducting his experiments, Bella wants to participate too. She's only allowed to work with bodies and happily someone's eyes with. As she plays with animals, Max shares his progress report with Godwin. He has noticed that she gathers around 15 words a day. Her coordination is mostly unstable, but she does better in evenings. Her hair also seems to be growing an inch every 2 days. Godwin is impressed with his work, but asks Max to not ask questions about her. Godwin reads a bedtime story to Bella at night. He explains later that Bella is an orphan and claims her parents were his friends. They were apparently brave explorers who got ended in a landslide. Bella makes peace with the fact that they're deceased. Moreover, she's happy to have Godwin in her life. Bella and Max sit down with a map, but he continues to keep a record of everything. She is curious about places on the map, so Max explains how people are in some parts of the world. She wants to see the world and starts climbing upstairs. She sneaks out to the terrace, but Max is worried about her safety. Bella doesn't care for danger and starts throwing things from the roof. She comes back to the study to demand that Godwin should let her go outside. Godwin has created a safe environment for her and doesn't want to let her out. But as he keeps refusing, Bella starts breaking things in protest. He takes her and Max outside, but warns Bella about all the things that can end her. When Max shows her a frog, she's excited to see it gone. She wonders why Godwin has funny thumbs as they eat. Godwin explains that his father pinned his thumbs into an iron case when he was young. He was a man of science and always experimenting. He did this to see if the growth cycle of the bones could be retarded. Since it hurt a lot, Godwin focused on his other finds to distract his mind. When he did that, he began to parse out the epidemiological elements. As Godwin watches more people approach, he claims a storm is coming and asks Bella to leave. He explains to Max that she's his experiment, so he has to control the conditions to get good results. On their way back, Bella wants to go out for ice cream. When Godwin refuses to let her, she screams and starts hitting them. Godwin finally chloroforms her to get her in control. Max is very curious about her and goes through the files in Godwin's study. He finds the diagrams of the brain surgery and asks Godwin to come clean. Godwin explains that Bella terminated. When he got access to her body, it was cold but still close to life. The body had hardly cooled and there was no pulse. He had no idea who she is, except that she hated to take it. He didn't want to decide her fate because he knows is treated as a crime, but it was also the kind of moment he had been waiting for. He could finally test out his research since Bella was pregnant. Her baby was still alive, so he took out the infant's brain and put it in her body. He got her back to life, and this is his greatest experiment till date. Bella wakes up and realizes that she can be happy by touching herself. She tries it again at the lunch table with food and feels pleasure. Bella wants to make Prim happy too, but she gets offended by Bella touching her. She also asks Max to watch as she puts a cucumber inside her. Max asks her to stop and explains how impolite it is to do this in public. At dinner, Godwin explains that he makes his own gastric juices after his father took out his oxyntic and pyloric glands for another experiment. Bella doesn't want to eat and drops her plate before leaving. Godwin has noticed love between Max and Bella and thinks he should marry her. He has noticed their chemistry as an observer. Max admits he has feelings for her. He remembers the time he and Bella licked each other's ears. But Max wonders if Godwin is raising Bella as his mistress. Because of all the experiments on his body, Godwin is a eunuch and immune to sexual responses. He also knows his paternal feelings for Bella outweigh anything else. Max asks Bella to marry him and kisses her. She wants to touch his genitals, but he refuses to take advantage of her. Godwin allows Max to marry her only if they live with him. Godwin's lawyer, Duncan Wedderburn, draws up the legal agreement for him. This contract makes him curious about the woman who needs to be bound to the house like this. He excuses himself for the bathroom, but starts looking for Bella. He finds her playing with bubbles in a closet. Duncan informs her about the contract and how she can't step outside unless it's with Max and Godwin. Bella understands and explains that they love her, but Duncan touches her between her legs. Bella feels excited after this encounter and touches herself again. Duncan climbs to her room, and she asks him to meet on the roof. She knows it was impolite for him to see her touching herself, but Duncan finds politeness boring and wants to give Bella an adventure of a lifetime. He can tell she wants to be free and offers to take her to Lisbon with him. Bella informs Godwin about her plan to secretly run away with Duncan. She doesn't like being trapped and wants an adventure. Godwin promises to let her travel with Max and him, but that's not enough for her. She agrees to marry Max when she's back. But first, she wants to find out how things go with Duncan. Bella warns Godwin that she will hate him if he doesn't let her do this. Max has heard about Bella's plans and asks Prim to unpack her bags. He doesn't blame Bella because Duncan is known to influence innocent women. Bella admits that Duncan's hands between her legs and his whispers made her feel alive. Max reminds her they are engaged and he loves her. She still promises to marry him when she returns. Max gets angry and wants to beat Duncan up for daring to do this. Bella seems attracted to this bold side of him and kisses him, but she uses chloroform to make him unconscious. Godwin has played some part in this and kisses her forehead before letting her go. Max knows Godwin did not try to stop her. He is worried about Bella, but Godwin thinks they can't do anything in front of her free will. As men of science, they can't let emotions cloud their judgment. After having sex with Bella, Duncan sits down for a meal with her. He compliments her beauty and admits he has been with many women. He makes her try oysters for the first time and a tart that should only be had once. When they have intercourse again, Bella experiences pleasure like never before. She wonders why people don't do this all the time. Duncan claims to be the very best and experienced with all this. He thinks no other man can give her the same kind of pleasure. She wants another round, but Duncan explains that even men like him have their limits. He asks her not to fall in love with him because he doesn't like to stick around. When he falls asleep, Bella dresses up and sneaks out of the apartment. Alone in the outside world, she walks around eating more tarts. She gets mesmerized by a woman who sings and pukes out the same tarts. When she finds her way back, Duncan asks why she disappeared. She explains that she wanted more tarts and followed the noise of the tram to find her way back. Duncan thinks it's dangerous for her to go out without him, but Bella had an adventure and loved it. During dinner with Duncan's friends, Kitty and Gerald, Bella throws food out of her mouth. Duncan is embarrassed, but Bella can't keep something revolting in her mouth. Kitty makes a modest joke about Gerald, but Bella spells it out by mentioning how Duncan tastes. Bella soon gets irritated by a baby and tries to punch it. Duncan takes her aside and asks her to behave. He wants her to use only limited phrases during their conversation. When Kitty asks if Bella is enjoying Lisbon, she claims she's delighted just like Duncan taught her. Kitty discusses her unwell father, but Bella gives a positive response to that too. Godwin gets a postcard from Bella about licking sugar tart all day. They are unsure of what that means, but assume Bella and Duncan must be having intercourse. Bella decides to explore the place more and gets alcohol for herself. After passing out, she joins Duncan and complains about her head. Duncan is angry that she disappeared again. A woman addresses Bella as Victoria Blessington, someone she hasn't seen in years. Bella doesn't know who she is, even if the woman could swear it was her. Bella knows Duncan is upset with her for running off. She has never lived outside Godwin's house, so she needs these adventures. But Duncan's sad face is making her angry at him. Duncan doesn't like being controlling either. He has run away from controlling women all his life, only to find himself being one of them. Bella gets distracted by the music and starts dancing in a strange way. Duncan joins her so he can control her dance. When they're back at the table, he is proud of how Bella loves to live in the moment. She keeps winking at him because a man keeps doing that to her. As Duncan starts fighting with that man, a couple asks Bella to join them for a dance. When Duncan notices this, He gets jealous again and jumps on the other man. Bella fights him off, since he's making her bad with his behavior. While making out in their room, Duncan notices markings on her inner thighs. Bella explains that a man was teaching her chess and thought she had the softest skin, so she asked him to test it on her inner thighs, where the epidermis is finest. Duncan heads to the bar in anger and asks if she had intercourse with the man. Bella clarifies that she only let him lick her clitoris because she needed to release some here. Duncan starts crying, and Bella is more confused about his reaction. Godwin faints during class and claims it's because he keeps chloroforming goats. Max knows he misses Bella because he sobs at night. Godwin doesn't want to admit that he's weak and emotional and asks Max to find another body for their experiment. Bella wakes up to find Duncan in a better mood. He claims he wants to support her adventurous spirit and asks her to get into a box. He brings her to a ship, and she knows he plans to trap her at sea. He is excited to have intercourse with her, but Bella gets angry and leaves the room. A man on the deck informs her that the next stop is in Athens after 3 days. Duncan claims he was only being romantic and thinks the ship can be a new world for her to explore. He confesses his love for her, but Bella doesn't understand that feeling. When she's not able to judge it empirically, he's surprised she knows what that means when she doesn't know chess or what a banana is. Bella is still angry and asks him for more ink. She walks over to an old lady, Martha, because she likes her hair. Martha has noticed Bella is with Duncan, who Bella claims sexually satisfies her. Martha hasn't had sex in 20 years, which surprises Bella. She introduces him to her friend, Harry Astley, who is mostly a cynic. Duncan brings her ink, and Bella introduces her new friends. When she discusses Martha's sex life, Duncan reminds her to be polite. But Harry thinks a polite society will destroy her. He can also tell Duncan is not comfortable with Bella making new friends. Duncan asks Bella to marry him. No one has made him feel like this before, and he has changed his plan of ditching her after a few months. Bella reminds him she's engaged to Max. Duncan thought that was over once she ran away with him, but she claims she is choosing him just now for fun. Duncan gets more frustrated with her, but decides to console himself in the casino. Godwin is now experimenting on Felicity, who seems more like a baby. He seems very impatient while tracking her progress. Bella starts reading a book by Emerson about the improvement of men. She wonders why there's no advice for women. Martha suggests she should read Goethe, but Harry seems sure philosophy is a waste of time. Bella feels it's everyone's goal to grow and improve, but Harry thinks his need for improvement is people trying to run away from the fact that everyone is cruel. Duncan asks Bella to join him in the cabin, but she's more interested in the debate. Since Bella has started reading, her language has improved. Duncan feels she has lost her adorable way of speaking. When she asks him to move away so she can read, he throws her book out. After losing money at the casino, Duncan wants to have intercourse with Bella, but she wants to meet Martha again. Duncan thinks Martha is the problem and threatens to throw her overboard. Bella runs after him in excitement to see how it pans it. Duncan tries his best to move Martha's chair, but the staff stops him. When Duncan is asleep, Bella joins Harry in his room. He has made her think of negative ideas, which she doesn't want in her mind. She doesn't believe that people are cruel, but she herself gets cruel with Duncan sometimes. Harry offers to show the real world to her. He takes her to watch the poverty and deceased babies lying in the heat in Alexandria. Bella tears up and tries to run downstairs to help them. Harry warns her against it, because he knows they will mistreat her too. She's unable to go all the way down and comes back to her room crying. Duncan is sleeping with a lot of cash, so she starts collecting it. She wants to give it to the poor near the hotel in the slum. People in the staff offer to deliver it to them and take the cash from her. Bella thinks they are nice men, but they're excited about fooling her so easily. Duncan thinks his money has been stolen, but Bella informs him that she took it. Duncan won all the money a night earlier and feels relieved that Bella hid it safely. But Bella explains that she gave it to the poor. She complains about how sick it makes her to be privileged. Duncan is angry with her, which gets worse when the staff asks him to vacate. They don't have any money, so the staff plans to put them ashore at the next stop. Godwin gets a letter from Bella about deceased, blind babies, and her biting Harry's hand. Bella feels bad for biting his hand, but Harry admits he was trying to hurt her too. He has never seen someone as happy as her and wanted to show her the real world. Bella still thinks she can improve the world if she understands it better. But Harry keeps insisting that there's no hope for mankind. Bella and Duncan find themselves in Paris without any money. Bella thinks getting a hotel for them will be an interesting experiment. She has read about many adventurers who have faced similar situations. Duncan still blames her and thinks she's careless. But Bella thinks her actions are justified because she was trying to help the poor. She decides to take things in her hands and asks a pimp, Madame Swiney, about a hotel. Swiney offers her rooms and agrees to charge 10 francs for every 30 francs she makes with a man. Bella has never had sex with anyone for money and thinks of this as a new experiment. She agrees to accompany the man, who doesn't take long to satisfy. Bella brings Duncan some food and shares the interesting experience she had. Now that she's had sex with another man, she appreciates Duncan a lot more. Duncan thinks she's a monster for having sex for money. He feels like she's finding reasons to destroy him. Bella knows she can't marry him because of the kind of experimenting person she is. She feels he keeps holding her back. She needs a more understanding husband. Duncan is angrier when he learns Bella had money this whole time from Godwin. Bella claims she was hanging on to it because she believed in Duncan to provide. But Duncan keeps her and takes all the money. Bella goes back to Swiney to ask for a job while she studies ways to improve the world. Swiney makes Bella a part of the system, and a man chooses her. Her colleague, Toinette, comes to meet her afterwards with tea and something to help with the smell. Bella discusses how brutal the experience was, but not entirely bad. Toinette hands her a pamphlet so they can change the world. Bella complains to Swiney about the lineup system. She thinks the women should be allowed to choose the man they want to sleep with. She asks the man directly if he would not prefer to be with a woman who wants him. Swiney explains to the customer that Bella is new and might have a mental illness. Bella explains what Godwin has told her about trying out new ways of living in the society. Toinette supports her, so Swiney asks the man to enjoy her for free. She takes Bella to her office, where she admires her beauty and bites her earlobes. Swiney asks Bella to enjoy her youth, because no one would want to pay for her when she's old. She knows Bella is an idealist, but asks her to give in to what the world wants. She explains that some men enjoy that the women don't want to be with them. It's good for business, especially since she needs to take care of her sick grandchild. Bella agrees to cooperate because of the child and make more money. Swiney asks her to experience the good and the bad to become a person with more substance. Bella plays a game with her next customer and makes him laugh at her joke before they have sex. She starts enjoying the sex with some customers, while the others' demands seem a little weird. She even keeps examining bodies when she gets homesick. A father brings his 2 sons so they can get some sex education. He wants to demonstrate and shows Bella's body parts to them. He starts having sex with her in front of them. Bella helps him out by explaining to the boys how choking can help a man finish faster. Duncan turns up under her building, but Bella asks him to leave. As she attends meetings with her Toinette, Duncan finds her again and claims he's ready to forgive her. He has even asked his mother to prepare for the wedding, but he keeps getting angry at the thought of her having sex with other men. Bella makes it clear that she has no feelings for him and regrets wanting him. She's late for the meeting with the socialists and leaves him. Felicity is still struggling with language, but Max thinks she's improving. Godwin is indifferent to her because he made the mistake of developing feelings with Bella. He also asks Max to operate on his tumor. Godwin is dying since the cancer has spread and asks Max to find Bella. Swiney brings chocolate for Bella and compliments her. Bella has heard her complimenting the others too and knows this is her tactic. But Bella has a bigger problem because she doesn't feel anymore and has no empathy. Swiney thinks she's in the dark period just before wisdom comes to her. While pleasuring her, Toinette notices Bella's scar. Godwin has told her it came because of an accident, but Toinette is sure this scar only comes after giving birth. After Duncan writes to Godwin, Max pays a visit to him. Duncan is admitted in a facility because Bella has apparently driven him crazy. He thinks she's a demon Godwin deliberately set on him. They get into a little fight, but Max convinces Duncan to give him her location. Max sends a postcard to Bella informing her about Godwin's condition. Bella comes back to London to be with Godwin. He has missed her and is glad to have her back. Bella asks if she had a baby, and Godwin explains what he did to her. Max knew about it too, but he was fascinated by her and too scared of Godwin to say anything. Bella finds Felicity playing with a hammer. She thinks Max and Godwin are monsters for creating another one of her. Bella wonders if she and Felicity are Godwin's creations. He knows neither of them are, because he doesn't want to be responsible for the things Felicity does. He also thinks Bella has also worked on herself to improve, which he couldn't have controlled. After thinking about what she wants, Bella has decided that being a doctor is her calling. She reminds Max about their engagement, but he was hesitating to bring it up. He is still fascinated by her and doesn't care that she slept with people for money. He knows it's her body, and she has the right to do what she wants with it. He also thinks people can improve. Bella realizes he is the kind of man she needs in her life, and asks him to marry her. Godwin has taken a lot of substances so he can walk Bella down the aisle. Before they can get married, General Alfred Blessington raises objection. He explains that Bella was his wife, Victoria, before she went missing. Duncan is still afraid to look her in the eyes, but he found Alfred. He remembered a woman calling Bella Victoria in the hotel. Alfred claims she left because she was hysterical with the baby, but he has missed her. Bella doesn't remember him at all, so Alfred thinks she might have hit her head and has amnesia. Bella decides to go with Alfred, and knows Max won't stop her. Before they reach home, Alfred takes out a gun because he hasn't been getting along with the servants. He reminds her of David and Allison, but none of them look happy. Allison brings Bella to the room without answering questions about how she was. Alfred claims she used to think the baby was a monster, which is why she left the bridge. He also explains that they liked each other because they both loved being cruel. He knows she was never dull enough to be kind. He has heard about her sleeping with men from Duncan. He brags about forgiving her for it and their unborn child. He thinks the list of ways in which she has wronged him is endless. He plans to trap her in the house till her amnesia gets better. Bella wants to leave whenever she wants, but Alfred brings out his gun and threatens to shoot her if she tries. Bella overhears Alfred discussing that he wants to surgically remove her clitoral hood, so she calms down. Alfred promises to get her sedated and bring her to the surgery that evening. When Alfred offers her a martini, Bella asks to leave so she can meet Godwin. Alfred thinks of her as his territory and refuses to let her go. He thinks the problem is between her legs, and he can manage her sexual thirst by removing it. He thinks a woman's life is dedicated to children, while a man struggles with his sexual desires. He plans to plant a seed right after removing her glands so she can be a mother. Bella explains exactly what Godwin did with her surgery, but Alfred doesn't care and threatens her with his gun. He asks her to drink the chloroform and gin, but she throws it at him. He fires a shot which injures his leg, and Bella brings him to Max for surgery. Bella wants to improve him and brings a goat along. Bella and Max are with Godwin in his final moments and watch him die. Sometime later, while Prim plays with Felicity, Max brings drinks for Bella and Toinette. Bella is studying for an anatomy exam, and Max is sure she will ace it. Alfred is also a part of them now, but he prefers to eat the greens with a goat's brain.